Mark Vientos went from stud to dud in just a matter of weeks. Felix Bautista just hasn't looked right since coming back from Tommy John's. We got some tough decisions to make when it comes to fantasy baseball, and I'm going to help you through them on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we are your number one source for fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Matthew Ane, the better half. I'm just kidding, Dom. I love you. Unfortunately, he's not able to be here, but we still got a great show for you today. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the bell below to subscribe to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, please, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you're getting that audio, please leave us a 5-star rating and review. It really helps out the show. Plus, hit that subscribe button as well. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets when you place your first $5 bet, and it hits. Okay, I got a great show for you today. I have 10 names that with guys that are just on the drop bubble, right? Should we drop? Should we hold? What should we do? Slow starts are a killer. And honestly, sometimes for some teams, it sets the pace. And you know what? It's time to make some tough decisions. It's time to make some cuts. And we got a few today. And the first one is interesting. Matt McLain of the Cincinnati Reds playing second and short. Look, McLain has not looked good since coming back from the injury, not playing all of 2024. 151 at bats, 23 runs, 3 doubles, 6 bombs, 17 ribs, 10 stolen bases, 21 walks to 58 strikeouts, and batting a lovely 172. He's just not looking right out there. You look under the hood too. The average exit velocity is, pretty good at 90 miles an hour. He is barreling 11% of the time. He is creating hard contact 46% of the time. Launch angle looks good and all that wonderful stuff, but things just aren't clicking. And I don't know what that can be. I'm confused. How I'm approaching McLain is, if I need the roster spot, there's nothing I can do. I have to just let him go. I think we're at a point where McLain isn't even going to get picked up if he's dropped. Let's put it that way. I can't see holding on to a guy that's not performing at this point. Here's the thing. He gets dropped. Like I said, he's not going to be picked up. And that means that you could just watch him. And if he starts getting hot again, or you start thinking like, okay, he's going on a couple games where he's getting hits in a row, then I'll scoop him back up. But look, injuries have been brutal this year. Guys keep going down, and you need to recover from that. So I think it's time that we move on from Matt McLain and kind of say, hey, man, it kind of just is what it is. I'll see you on the other side. I'm not even sure if we get right from him. Maybe he was just that rookie year was a fluke. Who knows? I'm a fan, but right now I can't waste this roster spot on him. I need to move on. Let's talk about this next guy here, Luis Robert of the Chicago White Sox, playing that outfield. If you don't know who he is, he has been putrid in the batting average category. He's played all season, 163 at bats, 21 runs, 5 bombs, 17 ribs, 17 stolen bases, and batting a 178. Him, I need to be patient with. Now, granted, we didn't have to pay the high price like we did last year for him, but still the upside is there. We've seen him perform, unlike Matt McLain, that does not really have a true track record. 2 seasons ago, Luis Robert had 38 home runs, a great amount of stolen bases and hit for average as well. That kind of upside, you kind of got to be patient with. If he starts off slow, he starts off slow. Positive side is he hasn't ended up on the IL. I think it may just be a little bit of frustration from being on such a cruddy team. What I will say is this. We got to just be patient and kind of deal. At least he's getting you stolen bases. Yeah, the batting average is kind of killing you. Yeah, he's not producing in runs and ribs because the team around him is atrocious. But there's another side of this that we just got to look into. He may not be on the White Sox for long, and that's going to be the positive side of this. If he gets traded by the trade deadline, which I think he's going to get moved, because there's no reason for the White Sox to hang on to him unless they're going to be bringing players in, which they're not going to do. And they haven't called up any prospects of worth noting. So Luis Robert is probably going to be on a new team and wearing a different jersey by the beginning of July. So I'm going to hold out on that, and I'm going to wait for it because remember the Juan Soto year right before he got traded to the Padres? It was really ugly. Wasn't performing to par. Went over there and started doing his thing. it may be the same thing. He just needs a little resurgence. I'm hoping he gets a good landing spot. That's going to be fun. I'm hoping the Phils, not just because I live in the area and I'm a fan, but because, you know, I need to see I want to see him go to a good spot, both for him as a career and a player, but also for fantasy. And that would be the best landing spot for him, in my opinion. And I just don't want to see the Dodgers get him. They're always in the mix for every player that's under the sun. So Luis Robert, I think we need to be patient with. We need to hold. If you see him out there, I'm probably adding him and stashing him, especially if I'm in that position. The only way I'm dropping Luis Robert is if I'm in a really shallow league. 8-man, that's really where it is. There is some out there, as weird as it sounds, but in 10-man, 12-man, you're not going to get a guy off the waivers that is going to have the upside that Luis Robert's going to have. So the patience level has to be a little bit longer. If he doesn't get moved, then you drop him like he's hot. But right now, you got to be patient. Let's move on. Let's talk about Jorge Polanco, the Seattle Mariners, also playing second base and and a shortstop right now, which is great. And he had a nice little start, right? Like he's been really good this year since he's returned from the injury. But the thing about Polanco is he has been cold these last couple of weeks, and I think that me personally looking at how he's been pretty much over the last 2 weeks, it's probably time to drop him. Look, yeah, he's up to 71%, but like he's a guy that nobody drafted. You didn't have any draft capital. You had no real ties to this dude. And he hasn't really been a fantasy contributor in a few years. Even last year, he batted 213. He only had 16 home runs with 45 ribs and 43 runs through 417 at bats. It's not like he missed, a good chunk of the season where he had like under 300 at bats. No, he played 3/4 of a season. He's played 118 games, and that's a stat line. Like that's ugly. There's not many excuses, even with injury, that are going to do it. Even the year before, you know, half a season had a better pace, and he had an extra 115 at bats this year, and he's still just barely any better. I think he's just going to be a guy that we add when he's hot and we drop when he's not. That's just really what Polanco is at this point in his career. He's not somebody that I'm really excited to own, but maybe when he was getting hot, maybe I was thinking we're going to see like a last hurrah out of him. But no, unfortunately, it is what it is, right? Like Polanco is just not performing up to par. So we need to move on and we need to call it a day with Jorge Polanco. So coming up next, I have Mark Vientos of the New York Mets that, again, like I said, it's stud to dud in a matter of weeks. You got everybody hot and bothered real quick. And then, of course, just fades into the darkness. That's all coming up next. The NBA playoffs are in full swing. Every night delivers highlights, worthy performances with major momentum shifts. And you can't miss out on those moments. Whether it's in-game, winning shot, breakout player, there's never a better time to get in the action. FanDuel makes it easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. With player props, performances, trends, and same-game parlays, fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. New to FanDuel? It's the perfect time to sign up and head to fanduel.com and place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Now, look, this is a baseball podcast. I don't have basketball bets. I'm sorry. That's a Dom thing. I have baseball bets. So today, as you're listening, I got a great bet for you. We're going to go for the Rangers game. We're going to go Josh Young for a home run, a hit, and a ribby. And, extra bases. Pick your poison, right? Home run counts for all that. Then we're gonna go for I forgot it. Wyatt Langford for a hit. And then we're gonna go for Tyler Mahle for over on strikeouts. And then we're gonna go for six strikeouts, six plus strikeouts. Okay, place a $10 bet. You should get about 100 and change return. And that's gonna be a solid bet. You're going up against Sean Burke with the White Sox. I think it's a great matchup for Young and for those Rangers. Bet on that game all day. FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NBA. Hey, you want a little bit more than what we offer on this 30-minute podcast? Get in on the inside track where you're going to be able to get direct access to Dom and I, get your questions answered, who I should drop, who I should pick up, who's the priority of the waivers, all that stuff. Plus, you're going to get the waiver wire rankings. You're going to get instant call up alerts. You're going to get all this stuff that you're not getting in this 30-minute podcast. We only have 30 minutes with you 5 days a week. You need more. You need that edge on your league. Join. Links in the description below. Become a member of that Diamond Club and get in on that inside track. But all right, let's get back in it. Let's talk some more baseball, okay? Mark Vientos of the New York Mets playing third base for him. Look, he went from, oh my God, look at this kid go. I'm super excited to have him, to what in the world went wrong? Like, I am just blown away that Mark Vientos has just taken that steep of a dive. 2 weeks ago, he was going off on a tear. Look, over the month, 14 runs, 3 bombs, 12 ribs, and batting 281. And now, last 2 weeks, 5 runs, a bomb, 3 ribs, batting 268. And this current week, 2 runs, no home runs, a rib, batting 143. What is going on? And I mean, I can't comprehend it. He has a 232 batting average on the year. His grand total of 5 home runs on the year. And I'm sorry, and he had 3 home runs on the month. So, like, where is this? Like, why are you not performing? You looked like you might last year after the little stint that you had of 413 at bats with 27 home runs, to now what, power being zapped and nothing being there, not performing on the field. This is going to be a rough one. Look, I'm not patient with him at all. Everything under the hood is screaming drop. Look, ex-WOBA is sitting at 298. Ex-batting average is 235. Ex-slug is 377. Average exit velocity is nice, at least at 90 miles an hour, but he's only barreling 7% of the time. Creating hard contact right at almost that good level of 44% of the time. Launch angles, meh. Look, he's chasing everything, whiffing a lot, and striking out a lot, not even really walking. Like, those are all signs of a guy struggling. 40 strikeouts to 16 walks, not good. Look, I don't blame you if you dropped him in 8, 10, 12-man leagues. Your 15-man leagues, your NL only, you're holding, unfortunately. You have no other option. You're not going to have a guy out there with that high of a ceiling. But in those mixed leagues, those shallow leagues, you could find somebody else. I could stream a better player than this. There is options out there. Whereas Vientos, it's not really worth it. It's not. Just drop him. Like, he is a flat out drop it. Like, there's a world. I don't think so, but there is a world this year where he doesn't really pan out and we're a year too early. Like, I don't think the talent's going to magically disappear. He's a very talented prospect. But what I will say is it's just not his year. It's not his year. Maybe it's sophomore slumps. I mean, it takes time for these prospects sometimes to come to full development. We might have a couple bright spots throughout the year, or he might turn it on the whole second half. We don't know. But right now, today, he's killing your roster. And he's not a guy that I think is going to be picked up. So move on from Mark Vientos and just drop him like he's hot. So about our last bat here, Austin Wells, the New York Yankees, playing catcher. And he's another one. Dom and I liked him preseason, but not because, we thought he was going to be, a top 10 catcher, maybe top 12, but that's not saying much for the position. But here's the deal. He has been atrocious over the last 2 weeks. 4 runs, a bomb, 5 ribs, stolen base batting 148. This past week, through 13 at bats, a run and batting .077. Yeah, that's not pretty. He's batting 200 on the year, but at least he has 8 home runs and he has 28 ribs and 2 stolen bases. So overall, I'm not mad, but I'm just also not thrilled. And it's just one of those things where if there's a better catcher out on the waivers that is performing in the moment, it's safe to say you could probably drop Wells and he'll probably be there for when he starts heating up again. Like, there is other catchers out there that are probably performing. Let's see something. Let me see if I can make a recommendation. So Hunter Goodman was a guy that was a good replacement. He's now widely owned at 74%. But if he's out there, I'd add him and drop Austin Wells immediately. It, or just stream your catcher until Wells gets hot. But I promise you drop him, nobody's picking him up. It's just one of those things. I just can't see a world where anybody's really looking at add him at this moment. Wells just isn't performing. For me, it's all about getting production. Catcher, I really don't care about. That's why we draft our catchers with the last 2 picks of our draft. That's why Wells was a target. High upside, going to be very volatile. Didn't really care if he performed because I'll move on. You didn't have to pay an ounce for him. It's not like you're stuck with the Rutschmans who aren't performing, that you paid uber high price and now you can't drop. No, it's Austin Wells. You got the last pick of the draft with, and you don't really care how he ends up because you could move on and there's no consequence to it. So I look at it like this: see you later. Bye. Who cares? If he bounces back, cool. If he doesn't, see you later. It is what it is. 2 catcher leagues, you might be in a little bit more trouble, but hopefully you've drafted accordingly. Let's move on. So about Zack Eflin playing for those Baltimore Orioles. He has had a rough season. He's posting a 5.08 ERA through 28 innings with a 113 whip. Over the last month, he has an 8.71 ERA with a 165 whip. 9 Ks through 10 strikeouts. Like that part's nice, but it's getting lit up. His last outing, a 13.5 ERA against Washington with a 188 whip. Had a good start against the Angels, but who hasn't? 5 innings, 5 Ks, a win, 3.6 ERA with a 1.4 whip, super high. Goes out against Arizona, which is great. 6 Ks, got the quality start. Didn't give up, only gave up 1 run, a 0.67 whip, with 1 strikeout. Not good. Boston, 4.5 ERA. Cool. Toronto handled himself, but again, low strikeout numbers. There is nothing really there for me with Zack Eflin, right? Like, yeah, he at times is good and he can give you some numbers against like a cupcake matchup, but he's not a guy I'm holding on to. He's not a guy that I really care to own. He doesn't have super elite stuff where I'm like, oh my God, I got to hold on to him. Like, sure, his ERA probably is better. His xERA is a 3.47 versus the posting of a 5.08, but still that doesn't make up other things. He doesn't have a knock your socks off fastball velocity where it's only sitting at 91 and a half. Average exit velocity sitting at 90 miles an hour. He's really only creating chases, getting guys to chase 27% of the time, only getting whiffs 20% of the time, getting to strike out 14.8% of the time. That's horrible. Allowing guys to a barrel 9% of the time, creating hard contact 43% of the time, not even getting some ground balls. This is not good. Like, not good for him. And look, even that the cutter looks fantastic that he leans on, but his sinker is getting hit at 269. His curveball is getting hit at 320. His sweeper is getting hit at 286. His four seamer is getting hit at 364. And his changeup is getting hit at 308. Now, he doesn't really, he leans on his cutter and his sinker at 26 and 20% of the time, but the curveball that he also throws 20% of the time has that high batting average. He mixes in the sweeper, four seamer, and changeup like 10% of the time. And those are all getting hit for a really good, really bad batting average for a pitcher, really good for a hitter. This is not good. Like, Zack Eflin should not be rostered in any league. I think that he's a streaming candidate. He's not a roster type for a full season. So for me, he's a drop, like flat out drop. Like, don't worry about it. Don't lose sleep over it. He's not going to have long-term value. And when there's a cupcake matchup or a good matchup or a decent matchup, and you need to start, then you add Eflin. Nobody's going to go out there and add him. If they do, that's a landmine on another team, and hopefully they play you. It's really all I look at it now. Zack Eflin has no true long-term fantasy value for me. I'm moving on. He is a flat out.
Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot.
So, peace out, Zack Eflin. I'm done. Let's move on. Guys, coming up next, I got 4 pitchers that we're going to need to talk about. Felix Bautista, Ryan Pepio, Sandy Alcantara, and Tony Gonsolin. What are we doing with them? Are we holding? Are we dropping? These are all bigger names that we need to really make some decisions on coming up next. And all right, like I promised, another Baltimore Oriole, Felix Bautista. So Felix Bautista is coming off Tommy John and has been looking pretty ugly these last 4 outings. And I don't know what's happening, but he's blown a couple saves. And now here's the deal. He's put himself in danger to possibly lose the security that he had as a closer. And if that happens, they could be a committee. They could flat out send him down. We've seen that. They sent down Edwin Diaz on the Mets last year and then brought him back up and he got to get things right. Batista might need that. I don't know. Now, this sucks, but this is the situation we're in. Now, the thing about Batista is you really can't drop him. He's a high-end closer. He's somebody that will get picked up if he's seen out on the on the waivers. And at any given moment, he can actually bounce back too. So things just aren't going right for him right now, but that doesn't mean it won't get right either. He's a very talented guy. Was one of the best closers in the league 2 years ago before going down to Tommy John. And we've mentioned it a million times with guys getting Tommy John. They all struggle with control coming back and placing their pitches. That's why we see the high whip at a 1.432 on the season. It's just not great. But what I do like is, he has 17 strikeouts to 14 and a half innings. That is great. We just need to see more saves. The team as itself just needs to be better for creating more save opportunities, which we would be talking a little bit better light if that was the case. But thank God they fired the manager. Let's put it that way. But ultimately, we need to just be patient and just hold. And the only way I'm even considering dropping him is if he gets sent down. But I'll tell you what, under the hood looks a lot better too. His xERA really should be a 3.62, which still isn't great for a closer, but better than a 4.30. His expected batting average against him is phenomenal at a 1.99. His fastball velocity is mind-blowingly back at 97 miles an hour. He's really diluting and stopping the hard contact because the average exit velocity against him is 86.2 miles an hour. He is creating a whiff 33% of the time, striking guys out 26% of the time, which we see with the K per inning. He's getting those are all great things. We just need him to stop walking guys, which again, part of the Tommy John. Barreling is kind of mediocre. It's at 88%. Fine. Hard contact only about 33% of the time, which is good. And he's producing ground balls nearly 60% of the time. This is all good things, which tells you there is better times to come. It's just he's probably not hitting his spots. This is what happens with guys coming back from Tommy John. So we're gonna hold. We're gonna be a-okay with Felix Bautista, and we're just gonna have to be patient. But I think a get right is coming in a hard snapback. Let's just remember what he did in 2023 before he went down. And in 2022, he was an absolute stud. He had a 1.48 and 1.48 ERA in 22 through 61 innings with 110 strikeouts and 33 saves. Like that was the best closer in the league. That talent doesn't disappear. He just dealt with a major injury. There's going to be a return. So hold Felix Bautista. If anything, try and buy him. Go out there, throw some cheap offers, see if you can get him off somebody's team because it might happen. But we'll see. All right, let's move on. I spent way too much time on him. So about Ryan Pepio of the Tampa Bay Rays, starting pitcher. And Pepio is showing all the worries that I had going into the season and him possibly not playing up in the pretty much the minor league park that the Rays are playing in this season. He has a 3.99 ERA on the season with 47 strikeouts through 56 innings with a 1.31 whip. So last two starts, he has a 4.5 ERA against Houston and Toronto. Did good against Philly, and then had a 4.15 ERA against the Yankees. San Diego handled nice, but Yankees hit him up again. Boston hit him up. LA hit him up. He's just not consistent. He's having blow up games, and he's not a guy that I really am counting on because he gives up just stuff that I'm just not great. Like, look, 10 home runs on the season, and that's only in 56 innings. Last year, he gave up 17. He's playing in the minor league park, and he's on a way higher pace than already. Look, he's not even at the halfway mark, and he's already given up more than half of the home runs he gave up last year. I think that stadium is truly making a difference in terms of his performance and limiting his ceiling. I don't like it. Even the ERA is a 3.99. It's still not good. He's under a K per inning. The whip is high at a 1.314. I don't blame you if you drop him in the shower leagues, 8, 10, 12. Sure, drop him. 15-man leagues, you're stuck. You can't do anything about it. He's probably a better option than what is out on that waiver wire. You're just going to have to pick your spots, and hopefully it's a weekly league where you don't have to do daily and you can, choose who are your best matchups that week and just drop them in and just be patient till Pepio either figures it out or until there's a good matchup. But unfortunately, you drop him in those kind of leagues and he's going to be picked up instantly. Even those ALs, you're stuck. But, mixed leagues, shallower leagues, you could probably drop him and nobody's going to care. Let's move on. Let's talk about a very tough name to talk about. Sandy Alcantara, those Miami Marlins. He has not been able to figure it out. He looked good in spring. Alcantara, we were talking him up really high because that spring he was looking like his old self. But man, this last month, 8.51 ERA through 24 innings, 21 strikeouts, a 1.77 WHIP. Only one quality start. It's ugly. This last start against the Tampa Bay Rays, a 7.2 ERA through 5, a 1.4 WHIP with 3 strikeouts. Even the White Sox hit him up. Even though he got 8 strikeouts through 5, he had a 6.35 ERA with a 1.76 WHIP. The Dodgers, of course, they're awesome. Still hit him up for 9 and a 1.4 ERA. The Dodgers again, a 23 ERA. Cincinnati, a 4.5 ERA. The Phillies, 27 ERA. The Nationals, a 6.35 ERA. This is ugly. I'm going to tell you, I'm not happy to own him. If somebody's trying to take him off my team, I might just do it. The only bright spot is his fastball sitting at 97.3 miles an hour, but he's not getting any movement. His fastball is as flat as can be. God, it's bad. So is his breaking ball. So is his off-speed pitches. Nothing is looking good. He's just doing 2 things right: fastball velocity and creating ground balls. But he's not doing anything else, and he's walking guys at an incredibly bad rate. Like, fastball has a batting average of 313. His sinker has a batting average of 280. Changeup looks good. That's great. But his curveball is getting hit to 267. Like, what? He's unstartable at this point. I won't blame you if you drop him in the shower leagues. Again, another guy, 8, 10, 12. He's probably a drop. I can't be patient anymore. You got to move on. In the deeper leagues, you're stuck with him. He has better upside. There might be better days to come. He might figure it out. But it's not like a Batista situation where, all the other stuff is screaming, hey, there is some positive stuff that's looking. No, it's just ugly. He just has his fastball moves really fast. That's it. That is it. What else is there for him? Until we start seeing better movement, until we start seeing him striking guys out and walking guys less, drop him. And I honestly, he might get picked up, but he's going to be dropped really quickly as well. Alcantara, flat out drop for me. Let's talk about this last guy here, Tony Gonsolin of the Dodgers. He's a different story. He hasn't played much this year because he's coming back from injury. Gonsolin had a great opening day and then has been up and down since. So his last start, he got hit for 9 against the Angels, oddly enough, but handled Arizona, handled Miami, and even Miami again with a 4.5 ERA, not bad because he had 9 Ks and 6 and got the quality start and didn't really give up, walks. Like, it was whatever. His next starts against, the Mets. I might sit him if my, ERA and whip are in a good spot. But if not, I'm starting him. Look, Tony Gonsolin is a guy that, he's like the Alberto Mondesi of pitching. If he would stay healthy, he would be awesome. If he was this, he would be awesome. He just can't stay out on the mound, and that's the problem with him. But look, things are looking fine. Even though his fastball and his off-speed, his breaking ball is looking really mighty flat, his off-speed pitches look awesome. His expected batting average at 222. xERA is a lot higher than is lower than his ERA right now at 378. Fastball sitting at 93 and a half miles an hour. Average exit velocities borderline good, but also could be bad with another mile per hour, 89 miles an hour. Getting guys to chase at 26%, which isn't great, but not bad. Creating whiffs 32% of the time, though. Getting the strikeout 28% of the time. Again, we see the walks, but I'm not really turned off yet. I think that'll improve. And he's suppressing hard contact because they're only doing about 35% of the time, which is great. Now, look, his fastball is his biggest problem. It has a 273 batting average. He throws that 40% of the time. With that split finger is filthy. He's throwing that 23% of the time and has a 158 batting average. His slider, which he throws 20% of the time, has a .077 batting average. So I'm totally in on that. The curveball also is getting lit up like crazy. Hopefully, he can just mix up his pitch mix, throw less curveballs entirely. You got to mix in the fastball so that you can kind of throw guys off and get them to enticingly spring, but maybe make that more of a chase pitch, and then really dig in there with that split finger and that slider, and he can seriously make a difference. Those things are doing some good things and having some positive reactions. So maybe he can mix things up or figure out what's going on with that fastball, and we could see a flip. So I'm holding on to Tony Gonsolin. I'm not even considering dropping him. He needs to be kept, honestly. So yeah. But guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. I want you to have a great weekend. Ponder over what I said today and make your decisions accordingly. So please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review, do everything you can to share this podcast because we truly love bringing it to you every single day. And when you're done, check out our boy Sully over at Locked On MLB, where he gives you full MLB coverage for real baseball, not fantasy. It's a great time over there. Puts on a good show. Have a great rest of your day, guys. Peace out.